Hi, my name is Jim Kerstein. I'm the author of The Butcher's Guide, Insider's View to help you buy the best meat and to save money. Today, one of those ways we're going to show you how to save money, I'm going to show you how to cut up a bone-in rib half of a pork loin. My local chain store offered these on sale, pre-sliced from end to end, for $1.29 a pound. I paid $14 for this. I saved $30 from the regular price, so obviously it's a great deal, great piece of meat to practice your cutting skills on. First thing you want to do is you want to ask the butcher to chine the meat. The chine bone is this bone here, this little piece of bone on the top, but you want him to chine it deep enough that you can cut the baby backs off. You need to be very specific about that, and the butcher that I worked with did a very nice job of that. He chined it very deep, and you can see here he had to take a second pass even to get deep enough for me. And what I have here is a piece of pork loin that is open where I can cut between the bones. Okay, I want to show you, some folks want to know where the meat comes from. Let's take these and throw them out of the way. By the way, these weighed just a little over a pound, so you lost $1.50 there. No big deal since you saved $30. I just like to show you where this comes from. I have a little drawing here. This is going to be the neck end of the little pig, and this is going to be the tail end. This piece here is right where the pork butt attaches, and you'll notice there's a blade bone here. These bones, these are the baby back ribs that we're going to cut out of it, and what they do is they continue down around to the belly of the animal. This is where the pork spare ribs come from, and the piece of meat that's on the pork spare ribs is called the pork belly, and that's what bacon is made out of. Okay, what we're going to do here, we're going to start, these are called the feather bones, these little thin bones. It's easier to kind of turn it sideways and just stick your knife underneath and just push your knife against the bones and pull them off. By the way, if you're new at this, you should be wearing a nice safety glove. I've been doing this for a few years, so I resist the urge. So we'll go ahead and we'll remove all the feather bones. So you can see they're just thin little bones. You can kind of see why they're named feather bones. They're fairly thin. Best way to tell if you have all the bones off the meat is just kind of feel it. If you feel any rough spots, then you still have some bone material to remove. Okay, we're going to throw those away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the baby backs off and make a boneless pork loin. So before we start that, what we want to do is remove this blade bone on the other side, and just like the pork shoulder, there's a little round piece of meat here. You want to just want to cut that off, pull it on the other side. The bottom of this bone, because it's a blade bone, is flat, so it's easy once you get the top done. Just slide your knife underneath, hold it close to the bone, and just pull that right out. Come down there on the other side just a bit. Kind of expose the whole bone, you know where you're going, so it's easier. So again, that's just there's a little piece of meat there. We're going to make some sausage out of the trim here, so I want to steal that little piece of meat off before I throw that away. Then we're going to remove this cap piece, and what we'll do is we'll take the knife, slip it underneath, kind of pull away where you can kind of separate the meat from the fat. If you pull, it'll come apart on its own. There's another little piece of that blade bone. You see that? Like I said, you can feel the bones, the hard parts. You just want to cut those off as you go if you missed one. What we want to do now is just take this piece of meat, the cap piece, we're going to remove that. You see how as I pull and push with the knife, there's a natural seam there that will just go down. It comes out very nicely. We're going to set that aside. Now this piece of meat, you could lean it up and cut it into stir fry. What I'm going to do is make sausage out of it. So now we have a pretty clean bone-in cut of pork loin. And what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves some baby backs. So here we go. Just follow the bone down around, and it's okay to leave a little meat on them, because who doesn't like their baby backs with a little meat on them? Here we go. Just all the way down. to the end. Grab a hold of it as you get it off, and then just cut it off. Like I said, don't worry about leaving too much meat on here, because nice meaty baby backs are a good thing. There we have it. Nice slab of baby back ribs. I'm going to set those aside. Got a clean piece of paper to set this on. So there's our slab of baby backs, and now what we have is a nice boneless pork loin. What we're going to do is we're going to take this tail piece. I'm going to cut that off because we're going to make a little sausage, and in my book you'll find recipes for making sausage. It's really a pretty easy process. So this is just like the boneless pork loin you could buy in Cravac as well. And traditionally the easiest thing to do is just cut boneless chops off the end. Okay, I want to show you a couple other things to do with this. Is you can make a thicker cut. Stick the point of your knife in and kind of work it around. What we're going to do is make a stuffing chop, and you can do the same thing with these nice bone-in chops as well. Just kind of work your knife in there. What you want to do is create a pocket in there to make a nice stuffed chop. I'm going to show you now how to make a double cut stuffed pork chop, kind of a double serving chop. Got a single slice, a double slice in the middle, and don't cut all the way through. We're going to butterfly this. Then another slice. Turn this over, and then we're going to cut in the middle of this and do the same thing, just butterfly part way through. Then when you open it up, you have a double cut family size package of stuffed pork chop. This piece makes a nice roast too as well. So with that done, we're going to go ahead and set those aside. You could cut the rest of this into chops, or you could just leave it as a roast. Kind of feel around. There's another little bone piece there. Just cut that off. Okay. So what I have here, I've taken the cap off of another. This price, I thought I should buy two. Another cut of rib cut pork chop, and I've taken the cap off like we did. I've left this on. What I'm going to show you to do is just cut your own double thick pork chops. And you'll notice the rib bones kind of go at an angle down here. So what you want to do for this first cut is you need to square it up. And we can probably get a nice boneless chop, or we can add that to the sausage trim. Then it's pretty easy to do. Just slice between each bone to make a nice, really nice double cut of pork chop. We're going to do this down until we get to the chuck end here, and we're going to make a pork prime rib out of that. We're going to do those in twos. We'll do one more set of twos here. There we are. So what we have, and you could, if you wanted to, you could cut this off. You could French the bones, but really, you know, these are baby back ribs here, and I don't like to trim that out just because it looks pretty. So there we have it. A nice bone-in prime rib of pork, a half a dozen nice bone-in chops, some baby backs, another boneless roast, some bone-in chops. Obviously, you could do these differently. These are just an example of each. Stuffed pork chop and a double cut pork chop. And then all of these pieces here that I've cut off, what we're going to do is we're going to make sausage out of those. So we'll put those, we're going to take this little piece and add to it because it's a little fat. We'll just cut these up, put them in the freezer for about 20 minutes, run through the grinder, season them, and make some nice sausage. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.